We're getting creative for this one. Hey, how's it going, you swell individuals? On today's Cracked Genshin tier list, we're gonna be thoroughly examining how good the Genshin characters would be at defending you in court. Now, this is a tier list you guys wanted. I did a little poll a couple days ago, and this one won, but we're probably gonna do all the options on that list because they all seem kind of awesome. But this one is gonna have a bit of a twist. So we're gonna be separating the characters into teams in a lawyer style tournament thing. Each nation is gonna be their own set of lawyers, or like a big team, if you will. So we have the Mondstadt crew first. We did add a third of this team. In the Liyue squad, we added Madam Ping, the nacho average old lady. And we also have, I think, Lumine. Yeah, she's up here as well. Inazuma did not have many characters, guys. So we added a few. We have Wanderer here, just because this is technically his nation of birth, even though he's probably not proud of that. It does make me sad that he won't be with Nahida, but it is what it is. We also have Dainslif, Dottore, Paimon, and Tartussi's up here, yes. So Inazuma has all the Harbingers, which, if this was a battlefield, would be amazing. But this is a courtroom, so it's a little different. And then finally, Sumeru and Fontaine, we combined them just because there's not many characters in general. And yeah. So we're going to be having 9 rounds. There's going to be a different amount of lawyers defending you in each round. And we're going to rank each respective team on who would be the best lawyers of said round. So if the Mondstadt team would be the best at defending you in court in that specific occasion, they will be awarded 5 points. Second place will be 3, third place will be 2, and last place will be 1. But yes, it might sound a little complicated at first, but I assure you, it's actually a pretty standard, easy to understand. So, round 1 will be 2 lawyers per team. And we're gonna start off with the Mondstadt lawyer squad. First, character, yes. Fuck. The first the first character. And it has to be Klee. I feel like Klee, even as a lawyer, would need some escorts in the courtroom. But we're starting fucking shit. I'm crying. This is the most, this has to be the most correct first pair of characters on a tier. What the fuck? So for this team of mischievous, chaotic madness, if we're talking like an anime style lawyer, Fischl is gonna fit that to the T. I could easily see this chick in like Danganronpa Phoenix Wright. Out of all the characters in this game, she's the one I could see shouting shit like, "Objection! Overruled!" Like she's gonna be shouting court lingo without even knowing what it really means. Like you as the person she's defending are just gonna be like, yes, she can actually object to something. But she's just gonna be like, oh, sorry, I don't really know what to say. I thought it just sounded cool. Like, nah, she's gonna get so caught up with the vibe that I feel like she might actually do a decent job just based off charisma. But if we're talking like facts and logic, that's kind of a different story. And Klee, I can just imagine being like the moral support. Like every now and then when Fischl gets tired of talking, which I don't think would happen often, but just listen to me. Klee is gonna interject and just say some random wholesome shit. And the entire concession stand, they're just gonna be like, aww. But don't take her wholesomeness at first glance, because deep down in those eyes is a mad criminal who is too young to go to prison, thank God. So with that said, in terms of how good they would be at defending you, I'll be nice and say like a 4 out of 10. I don't fucking know. Like, if you don't know who your lawyers are, and these two come into the courtroom to defend you, I would just look at the guards and just be like, take me away. I know this isn't gonna work. But nah, also Klee is kind of a good luck charm, so maybe that would help in some way. We'll get to the Liu first team.
Oh my god, the wheel is kind of slow.
Nah, we're getting the wild first characters. I feel like Beto is the type to fist the judge. Sorry, punch the judge if things don't go her way. I'm starting to realize how cracked and cursed this is gonna be. Like, imagine Baiju leaving Chi-Chi with Beto for a day as her babysitter. She's just gonna come back to the pharmacy the next day with like an eye patch dripped out. She's gonna be an official substitute member of the Crux fleet. No. But if we're talking about like a courtroom kind of setting, I feel like Chi-Chi is just gonna be Beto's assistant as she's trying to defend you. So as they're coming in the courtroom, Beto just has the most drippiest tuxedo, and then behind Beto is gonna be Chi-Chi carrying like 50 different documents, 50 different binders, and everyone's gonna be like, how is that child carrying so much? But it's because she got that zombie strength, y'all. So nah, Beto's gonna be that charismatic lawyer, kind of like Fischl, except just no. And I feel like she low-key has a bit of knowledge when it comes to the law. Because she's a pirate, she's always traveling, she needs to know a bit about this. And the fact that she's so upfront isn't really a bad thing. It's just there's certain like court lingo. Like when the opposition like cuts her off or something, she's gonna be like, hey boy, mind your business, I'm in the middle of my rebuttal. And Chi-Chi's just gonna be nodding in agreement like, yeah, let Beto finish her argument, bitch. God, I love them together so much. And nah, I feel like she'd be really good, Chi-Chi, at like memorizing different things for the court case. Like, she's not gonna do it too far back, but her notebook is just gonna be full of like law lingo for the 3 days leading up to the court trial. So honestly, I don't think this is that bad of a team. It's funny to think about, yes, but if we're comparing these two, I think we know who's like kind of better. So yeah, we're gonna go on to Inazuma next for the lawyers, yes. Are you serious? Okay. Guys, if that was Ito, this would have been the messiest first round. Like, nah. But we have Goro. I think he would be pretty good, actually, yeah.
Oh my god, you see? Okay.
I think it's because I have so many wheels that it's lagging a bit. But we have Toma, almost Ito again. But this is our first well-grounded group of lawyers, all right? Now, although it's not the most apparent, I think this is a low-key kind of a powerhouse dynamic. Because we have Goro, who's the right hand to the fishiest of brains among Watatsumi Island, and potentially Inazuma as a whole. Like, I feel like he learned a couple things from Kokomi, even if it's just by watching. Like, obviously he's not on that magnitude of a level. Like Miko always be fucking around with this boy because he's easy. But the fact that he could be timid at points, I think Toma can make up for that. Because Toma, bro, when business needs to get done, this man is really assertive, man. Like in the bedroom, I feel like he's a bit of a switch. Sorry, Ayato. Anyway, if you guys remember in Port Rito, like he's basically the bartering god. Like he's always negotiating prices with all of these different people in the port, that I think that's a skill that he could kind of take to the courtroom. Mind you, that doesn't make him a lawyer, but still, I feel like he's more persuasive than a lot of characters, probably on a similar level to Beto, just more calm and collected, which is definitely a good perk to have. So yeah, I think if they do start like an argument in the court against, just for fun, let's say they're going against Beto's squad, I think Toma is gonna be like, all right, Goro, you started off. And Beto's gonna see him and be like, huh, this is gonna be easy. Just in a more nice way because she's a Chad. But then Toma's gonna come in and be like, ha ha ha. And Beto's like, nani? And yeah, I think this would be a really good epic duel if they were to duel in the courtroom. But yeah, Toma's squad is pretty good. I like that one. It's a good one. Next, we're going to Sumeru.
First character.
I love how we started off with Fischl and Klee, and now we're going to the biggest brain of lads with Alhaitham.
Okay.
Wait, oh shit, no! Nah, guys, nah. This is my favorite. I fucking love this. First of all, they're kind of matching in colors, which I love, but they're such moods, guys. Like, they would be so good as partners for anything. They're both not the shy types, but they don't like to talk that much. Like, just as an example, if you were to go inside a room and just see these two quietly sitting on the couch, not talking to each other at all, you as an outsider might think it's awkward, but to them, bro, it's probably the most beautiful thing imaginable. Like, they would appreciate each other's silence and company so much. Now, if we're talking about them defending you in court, if the amount of money they're getting to represent their client is enough, yeah, I think they're winning this whole thing. Both of these characters are the type that when they're incentivized, like if you give them enough reason to do a really damn good job, bro, they're gonna slay, okay? Like, nah, Lynette would be going off of sleep mode and in to maximum overdrive to make sure she gets enough of that money and that food. And Arlecchino is gonna be really proud of her daughter over here. But nah, I feel like Alhaitham is the type to make the judge of the court question their credentials. Like, the judge is like, he knows more about the law than me. But the thing is, Alhaitham doesn't give a shit, okay? Like, the only reason he himself is not a judge is because it's too much of a hassle, too much effort, and as long as he gets a decent amount of money, yeah, he's good. And being a lawyer does pay pretty well. Honestly, I can see these two as famous lawyers throughout the land. If anyone wants to interview them, they're just kind of giving them the hand like, don't talk to me. These two would not talk that much, but still control the entire courtroom. So, we're gonna say Lynette and Alhaitham are in first place, Toma and Goro will be in second, Beto and Chi-Chi in third, and I'm sure you could have guessed. I don't think Klee's good luck and Fischl's enthusiasm are gonna save them from this one. Next up, we shall go to round 2, and it's gonna be 3 lawyers per team. So big a team this time.
Oh my.
Okay, Barbara, gonna convert the court to Barbadosism or whatever it is.
Ooh, okay.
All right, this is already a massive improvement from the last round. Although seeing Kaya and Klee as a partnership would have been kind of funny actually, but it's fine. Oh! Mondstadt was not taking that first loss lightly, bro. Now, if we're talking about cooperation amongst these 3 characters, I would not be surprised if these 3 were the best at communicating throughout this entire list. Because Jean, her sister Barb, and Kaya, who she works with, like, it's kind of perfect. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty of explanations and stuff, Kaya's gonna be a little unhinged. Like, nah, why do I feel like Kaya's been to court like several times in the past? And the thing is, he's such a nice and chill guy, but he's just acts so suspicious for no reason whatsoever. Like, plot twist, he's working as an undercover agent for Piero of the Harbingers. But I like him so much. Like, he's so good with the kids, and I feel like he'd be really good at like talking with the judge. Like, Jean and Barbara are gonna be the types who are like sitting at the table, kind of getting the documentation ready. And when Kaya gets to like the podium to speak, I can imagine so many of the females in the crowd, like half of them were on their phones. But when they hear this ASMR like voice in the mic, they're instantly gonna be like, oh my god, I want to vote for whoever the fuck he's voting for. Like, no, he's gonna rizz up the audience members of the courtroom, and the judge is like, sir, no flirting with the audience. And he's like, my apologies. Anyway, my client did not suck dick. Nani? Sorry. But I think Jean might have to take over after a while just to kind of like get things back to a sense of normalcy, because Kaya might go off the deep end. Not his intention, mind you, but just the way he is as a character. And he's gonna sit next to Barbara. They'll kind of go over documents. Maybe they'll bond a bit as Jean's doing her thing. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a pretty solid first team for round 2. Honestly, I would not be surprised if they were the winners. That was a really solid team, guys. The law? What is that? No, Shen. Why do I feel like she'd want to attack the opposition? Like, if she's defending someone who is genuinely not guilty, bro, she's gonna attack, guys.
Okay.
I am very happy Lumine is here to keep Shenhe in check. Although, maybe I'm not, because her attacking would be kind of hilarious. Guys, low-key, or nah, not even low-key, high-key, Ningguang could be like the sole lawyer of this team, and the others don't even need to do anything. Nah, I think Lumine is gonna be like the mediator of this group. And honestly, she is really lucky to be paired with these two mamas over here for completely different reasons, because I want them both to step up. But Ningguang specifically gives me similar vibes to Alahatham, except she's gonna try more, especially if she's defending an innocent person. Actually, you know what? I think she would only defend an innocent person because she's kinda by the books, although every now and then she has to get her hands dirty. She's basically like Jean, except unhinged is what I would say. Like, after a while, the judge is just gonna get up and be like, you know what? I don't think I'm qualified to be a judge anymore. Ningguang's gonna be like, yeah, just step aside. Let me take control of this courtroom. And Lumine, I can 100% imagine as Ningguang's assistant. Like, kind of during her hangout event, when we were just helping her with her daily task. Every now and then, when she needs like a key point of evidence, she's like, Lumine, I need the papers, girl. Give me the papers. And then what would Shenhe do? Ooh. Okay, I think if we're going the route that Ningguang low-key becomes the judge, I feel like Shenhe might turn into security. Like, she's gonna be like, Shenhe, in case the culprit decides to run, stay by the door. And she's like, I got you, boss. No, why am I turning this into a completely different plot? But either way, Ningguang is a one-woman army. These two would be her assistants. It's a powerhouse just for her alone. It's amazing. Anyway, next team.
Oh, okay.
I feel like Ayaka might know a lot about the law just because she's a really smart cookie. So yes. Oh, this is okay. Guys, Kokomi versus Ningguang in the courtroom is nutty. This shit is wild, okay? Nah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna call it right now. This is gonna be the strongest team of lawyers we have throughout this entire list. I am pretty damn sure no one is gonna beat this team. So we have Ayaka, okay. We have Ayato, we have Kokomi, like, nah, guys. Ayato's entire, like, character story quest was fixated around a similar kind of thing. Not saying it's the law directly, but it's negotiations, persuasion, all about this kind of talking thing. Ayato is gonna have at least a lot of semblance when it comes to the law. And kind of the same with his sister, although probably not on the same level. She's mostly just gonna be there for moral support. She's gonna be like the cheerleader as Kokomi and Ayato just get their game on in the courtroom. Like, nah, the judge is gonna be like, Mr. Kamisato, Miss Kokomi, why is your associate there going, go team, go? And Kokomi's just like, moral support, miss. We work better when we're happy. Which, to be honest, is kind of true. Although I don't think they need her, it's fine. She's gonna do her thing. Guys, I would empty my bank account just to see Kokomi and Ningguang interact in game. Honestly, even if Kokomi and Ayato were defending like a guilty person, I don't think it's really gonna matter. They'd still be able to prove them innocent, even though they're not innocent. And you know damn well, Ayato is into some shady stuff from time to time, and Mademoiselle Fish does what Mademoiselle Fish needs to do. The only weak link I think would be Ayaka, just because if they were defending a guilty person, she'd be like, bro, they clearly committed a crime. Ayato's gonna be like, Ayaka, listen to me. Sometimes you need to do things that you're not proud of. Sometimes we need to put the moral high ground aside to pay the bills. Like, nah, there's a reason why he is the head of the clan. But yeah, overall, I don't think there's much more that needs to be said. This is a powerhouse through and through. If Sumeru somehow tops this, I will be bamboozled. They have Nahida, that's kind of the one thing. Okay, Nilu, I think would be similar to Ayaka in the sense that her biggest perk is making the audience smile. Oh, wait, no, her whole Zubair theater ooh. Okay, Chlorinde is a police officer, kind of like she's associated with the law. So I think she would be okay in the courtroom. Yeah, kind of similar to Sarah, like when she was debating Kokomi. That is also interesting. Okay, why is Candace and Chlorinde like the baddest bitch squad imaginable? Like, nah, the amount of Step On Me vibes both of these characters give is insane. I think they would be really good friends in the silent but deadly, like that kind of whole idea. And then we have Nilu as part of the team. Like, nah, she's the cinnamon bun while the entire courtroom is intimidated by Mommy 1 and Mommy 2's imposing auras. I will say what this group is lacking is the sense that Candace isn't really by the law, by the books. Like, she's not that kind of person because she's in the middle of the desert where it's anything goes, survival of the fittest, that I think a courtroom is not her ideal setting. But nah, Nilu would welcome her to the lawyer team. She'd be like, don't worry, Candace, we're gonna figure it out. This is my other friend, Chlorinde. Chlorinde is like, what's up? Candace is like, how's it going? And that's all they're gonna say to each other. Like, they're gonna be besties who don't even need to talk. And I'm sure they'd also respect each other's combat abilities. But when it comes to the law, I think this is probably the weakest team out of the bunch. Yeah, because Candace is definitely at a disadvantage. Chlorinde probably isn't the worst. Nilu is probably actually the best member of this team, just for her experience in like the Zubair theater setting, where she was basically telling that piece of schlech, who isn't actually that big of a piece of schlech, because he had a really wholesome father-daughter thing going on. But she did her thing. Even when the odds were against her, she defended her client, which was basically the entire theater. So with that in mind, are they still in last place? Okay, let's announce the rankings. Yeah, okay, so in first place, it's gonna be Inazuma with the 5 points. Liue is gonna be in second with 3. Mondstadt is gonna be in third with 2. And Sumeru and Fontaine as like a team kind of shtick are gonna be in last place with 1. I was really unsure with that. For Mondstadt in Sumeru and Fontaine, they were interchangeable, but I still kind of tipped my hat in Jean and Kaya's favor, although Nilu is like right behind them, just not quite there. Her team members aren't as like amazing as Jean's team members per se, but yes, that is my take. Now, for the solo round, we're gonna actually do character after character just because there's only 4. So yeah, So for Mondstadt, who do we got? Ooh. Okay, Mondstadt, I think you might make a comeback in this round. But we got the Riz God, Albedo. Now, representing Liu.
Yeah, okay.
I kind of feel bad for Jinyon being alone. Like, I wish she had a partner. Because this really isn't her kind of thing, but okay. And then Inazuma. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay, Inazuma, I think is kind of cooking right now, guys. But we have Shinobu. My girl went to law school, so... Besides for Yen Fei, I don't think there's... We'll see. Oh, wow. Wait. Fuck. Guys, this is so close. This is my favorite round so far, because besides for Jinyon, we have a really good, debatable three-way contest. Now, I think we have to address the elephant in the room right now. Like I mentioned, Jinyon Liyue is gonna be in last place. I just don't think she can compete with these other three characters. Like, yes, she's very loud and outspoken. Like, her kind of energy and demeanor is not the worst thing for the courtroom, but it's just when it comes to the knowledge part of things, I think she's lacking when compared to the others. But still, y'all know I love my girl. You should know that by now. For the other three, I'm not sure who's in third yet, but Albedo definitely has the least experience in this kind of setting. Although he kind of makes up for that by being the smartest character out of this group, so it's kind of tricky. Navia is in Fontaine, which kind of gives her an advantage because she's always watching like these kind of trials going on, so she's definitely picked up on a thing or two, and she's also helped us out in the court before. Like, if you guys remember that whole scene in the first trial, where she kind of ran aside for a sec to find the girl who was hiding in the courtroom. That is, in my opinion, a really big brain conclusion to get to based on the information we got. Like, she's a smart cookie. Yes, she's insanely emotional, which is not the best thing for the court, realistically speaking, but she still has a good head on her shoulders. And then we have Shinobu, who has been to law school. The way she constantly somehow gets the Arataki gang out of trouble is kind of amazing to me. Like, she has to have respect for that alone. And the fact that Sara, a huge member of the military of Inazuma, wants her to join them, like, she's so multi-purpose, it's insane. Now, I think we have to decide. Fuck. I want you guys to let me know in the comments who out of these three you think would be the best. I am gonna give it to Shinobu. For second and third, in my opinion, it's really interchangeable. I'm gonna narrowly give it to Navia just for experience. Because I think if you just throw Albedo in a courtroom without any prior knowledge, I don't think he's gonna live up to like someone who's grown up her entire life in this kind of environment. But still, he's definitely the biggest brain, but we're gonna leave it like that. Honestly, that was my favorite round. Even though it's solos, it's such a good competition. So we got Inazuma with the 5 points, Fontaine and Sumeru with 3, Mondstadt with 2, Liyue with 1. Overall, again, awesome round. Moving on to round 4. We have teams of 2 yet again.
Ooh.
Guys, I remember a comment on the track and field day tier list where people were saying Mondstadt is the jock nation, and I'm very inclined to believe that now. Like, after this tier list, yeah. Okay. These are two very different characters that I have no idea how they'd even interact, but I feel like it'd be kind of cursed, wholesome, and hilarious. So we have Diona and Noelle. So Noelle would defend you with her life on the battlefield. Honestly, I feel like she's well versed enough in all kinds of knowledge because of the knights and how she's pretty much too overqualified to even join them, in my honest opinion. Like, I think she's gonna have a decent enough chance to defend you in court. Not saying it's guaranteed she'll win the case, but she's probably at least somewhat well versed in this kind of thing. Diona, on the other hand, I feel like she's the type to reprimand her client for their poor life choices. She's gonna be like, why did you get yourself into this predicament? God, making my life so difficult. Even if her client is innocent, she's gonna be back talking them like crazy, that I feel like Noelle is gonna have to step in to kind of keep her in check. And honestly, I feel like Diona's one of the few characters that might be kind of good for Noelle, in the sense that she might pester her to kind of keep it down and relax a bit. Because Noelle overworks herself to the ground, and Diona, I think, would make her kind of chill, which would be good for her to compose herself in the courtroom. So yeah, mind you, this isn't the best team in the world, but I don't think it's like dog water poo poo caca. I think it's like a 5 or 6 out of 10. But yes, next, let's go to Liu. This is the most wholesome lawyer you can ever imagine. Yao Yao. She'd make the judge go, I love it when the wheel gives the cannon pairs like this. Why do I feel like before the trial starts, they like open the doors, right? And they're like, let the lawyers in. And you just see Yao Yao like holding Ping's arm. Like, come on, Ping, we're almost to the stand. She's like, yes, thank you, Yao Yao. It's almost time to do that. I'm sorry, I know Ping is like this by choice, don't get me wrong. I just love the wholesome dynamic. And the entire audience is just gonna be like, look at that nice little girl helping her grandmother to her seat. But psych, they're actually the lawyers defending their client. Now, I think these two are gonna be amazing lawyers. Yao Yao is just a breath of fresh air. At first, people would just listen to her because of how wholesome she is, but once she gets into it, the audience is like, holy shit, this child actually knows what she's talking about. But nah, Yao Yao isn't the main event. Madam Ping is the main event. She's like, all right, Yao Yao, thank you very much. I'm about to end this man's whole career. My client is innocent. He would never murder a person. Isn't that right? Innocent client. I don't know what I'm saying. Regardless, I think the fact that she's also really close with Yen Fei, maybe some of the law enzymes have rubbed off on both of them because they're both always with her as well. And she also has the age card, which I will pull in this scenario because she has the experience. Yes, she did live a lot of her life in the mountains, but now she is a fully integrated old lady of society. So yeah, that's a solid second team we got. Back to Inazuma, who is kind of slaying so far, like holy shit. All right, everyone, it appears as though I have made a mistake. Give me one sec. Yelan is on the Lired list, but I accidentally put her here as well because she came out in Inazuma. That means we are missing a character, actually, huh? All right, guys, we found it, and it was Kirarada because we always seem to forget about Kirarada. Now we will get to the actual team. Next, we have the Rizzy detective, who would probably be really good in the courtroom. Might make the judge a little moist. If you go on Urban Dictionary and type brains and bronze, I would not be surprised if Ito and Heiso are the first thing to pop up. I feel like both of these characters are the type to get so dressed up for their court case trial. Like, nah, Ito's gonna come in with the shades, the top hat, gonna be like strutting down the aisle like, yeah, I'm gonna defend this client and look cool as heck while doing it. And Hazo is gonna look actually cool, like the Riz god that he is. I just imagine these two looking like Men in Black. One of them both standing on each side of their client. And Hazo is gonna persuade Ito into like doing the opening statement. Like he's gonna open up the trial and everything after the judge. And then Ito isn't gonna talk for the entire rest of the trial. Hazo is gonna know that Ito is gonna feel so proud of himself after doing the opening. And then Hazo's gonna talk for the rest of the trial. Now, although he might get scolded for flirting with like any person in sight, really, I think he'd do a pretty damn good job at defending you because he is a detective, which definitely kind of ties into the law quite a bit. So I'm sure he's really well versed in this field. Also, he likes to talk a lot, which is perfect. So overall, I think the boys would do a really good job at defending you in court. Yeah. Now we're gonna go on to the Sumeru team. Yes. Dea's the type similar to Beto that I feel like would punch her opposition if they were giving her any lip. Like if an NPC was being illogical. I like that. Wait, I love that. This is a really wholesome dynamic. And honestly, this whole round is kind of really close when I think about it. Yeah. So we have another brains and bronze kind of dynamic here, except this time the bronze has a bit of a better head on her shoulders. No offense to my boy Ito. You know I love you, bro. But yeah, I can imagine at certain points in the trial, Layla is definitely gonna be the logical girl who is speaking for most of the time, but maybe she gets like cut off from her opposition and then she gets a little timid and she's like, I don't know how to throw myself back into conversation. That's where Dea's gonna come into the picture. She's gonna be like, hey, yo, shut up and let my girl talk. Okay, Layla, you can continue. And she's like, thanks, Dea. And since Dea's really tight with Candace, she definitely knows about Layla, which I think is really cute. Yeah. Now, I think Dea will also have her time to speak, and she is gonna go off, bro. Even though she might not know exactly what she's saying at points, especially with like law lingo, she's gonna be really persuasive because of how charismatic she is. And if she ever goes off the deep end, Layla would just like tug on her shoulder like, Miss Dea, she's gonna be like, what? Oh, sorry, Layla, I was too heated. Like they're both gonna be each other's comfort friend, which I adore. Now, maybe halfway through the trial, Layla might also go into maximum overdrive and have a good battle of the brains with Hazel over here. Yeah, ooh. I wonder who would win that, sleep version of Layla or Hazel? Who do you guys think is smarter? Feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm kind of curious. But with that said, let's organize them from best to worst. Ooh. Okay, guys, this has been the hardest round by far so far. So, last place with 1 point, Diona and Noelle. That one was pretty easy. The other three. Now, if you personally think the order I did for these three groups is wrong, you can let me know because honestly, I'm not even sure myself. I'm gonna say Hazo and Ito. Never thought Ito would be in first place. Is gonna be in first with 5 points. Madam Ping and Yao Yao in second with 3. Layla and Dea in third with 2 points. Now, the reason I put Layla here isn't because she's less intelligent, more because the law isn't her area of expertise. Like, it's not something she occasionally studies, but Madam Ping being the really smart old lady who knows a lot about everything, I think would probably outshine her a little, and Hazel being the detective, that's why I put him in first, yeah. But overall, a really solid round. We are going to be moving on to round 5, the halfway point, actually, yeah. Representing Mondstadt in the first group of 3. All right, this is my client. He's an innocent person. No, I need Venti drunk in the courtroom, fuck.
Yeah, okay, wait.
Okay, that's not bad. Now, Amber isn't really the most well-versed in the law, mind you, but she's really peppy and outgoing, which is a pretty good thing to have in this kind of setting. Nah. Yeah, Mondstadt overall really is the jock nation, not the big brain nation, guys. Fuck. Random point, I would love going to a house party with these three characters specifically. Like, you got the really fun drunk dude, the really happy girl, and their dog. No, they're all great. They'd get along. I'm gonna say that right off the bat. They'd all be really good at communicating. Notice how I'm trying to throw positive things out because this is hard. Now let's get into how they would perform in court. I think the best person in this group, probably Amber, I guess. Now, I don't think she's really gonna be that into the law, but she's really into the idea of right and wrong. Like, even if she doesn't know a lot, she's still gonna wanna defend an innocent person with her life. Like, she's gonna be throwing out a bunch of big fancy words that sound smart just to convey her personal feelings that the person she is defending is in fact innocent. And I think after a while, she's gonna be like, Venti, you got this. I'm gonna take a water break. And he's gonna be like, my client here, Hingle McCringleberry, is in fact innocent of the crime. Hey, bro, what crime did you commit again? I didn't commit any crime. Yes, my client didn't commit any crime. And the judge is like, all right, security, please take this gentleman out of the courtroom. And then he runs out with the security chasing him. Like, nah, I need Venti drunk in the courtroom. And then Razor, who's probably just like doing paperwork instructed by Amber. Wait. Does Razor even know how to write? God damn. Nah, he'll just be handing Amber documents, but when the security starts chasing Venti, he's gonna chase the security, and there's gonna be a whole fight, and Amber's just gonna be in the corner, like putting her hand around the defendant's shoulder, and she's gonna be like, I'm sorry, I don't think you're getting out of this one. Like, no, this would turn into a whole comedy skit with Venti and Razor. I know Lisa taught Razor a thing or two. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't even think he knows how to read, like proficiently at least, right? I don't know how he got into the lawyer career to begin with, but yeah. Next team for Liure. I don't think it's gonna take much to top that, to be honest.
Okay, that's not bad.
Next, we got the Exorcist Boy, who is a lawyer for today. You gotta love it when the boys, again, like Heizo and Ito, are paired up. Jingcho, I think, would be amazing as a lawyer. He has the justice mentality. He got this in the bag. He's also rich. Ooh! Let's go! Canonically, these characters are all really damn good friends, which is really cool to see. Okay, guys, why do I feel like Jingcho is gonna like tie Hu Tao up in like... He ties her up in the back room before the trial starts. The judge is like, gentlemen, where is your associate? I was expecting 3 of you. Jingcho's like, don't worry about it. But psych, she's gonna bust out somehow. She's gonna burn the ropes and be like, you thought you could contain me? I just feel like since he's such a good friend of hers, he's gonna know that she's gonna go over the damn edge in this trial. Like, she's gonna wanna lose intentionally so her client kills themselves so she has a new customer. No, that's kind of dark. We're not taking that approach. Stop it. She's gonna be super enthusiastic about things. I think it's just, there's a whole thing about morality in the courtroom that I feel like she might not be the best in, but I think Zheng Cho would, and Chung Yun would as well, yeah. So I think Chung Yun is gonna be Jingcho's low-key kind of manservant for the trial. Like, he's gonna be organizing documents. He'll talk from time to time, just when Jingcho needs to get a glass of water. And Hu Tao is gonna just go crazy whenever she gets the chance. She's gonna be like, all right, sorry to interrupt the trial, but I just have these, flyers that I'd like to give out to everyone in the jury, the audience members here, that I think would show a piece of crucial evidence for the case. She gives one to the judge. The judge is like, "Bish, this is just an advertisement for your funeral parlor. Get out of the courtroom." Like, she's gonna get escorted out by security. But her aside, I think Jingcho and Chung Yun would be amazing, especially Jingcho. And yeah, I think they could successfully defend their client, even with Hu Tao causing chaos in the courtroom. Let's move on to the Inazuma team. First character. Bro, Skara is gonna put so little effort into actually defending someone. Unless Nahida is on his team, but she isn't even on this list. So, like, fuck. Nah, he's gonna have no incentive whatsoever. Oh! Guys, do not expect that. Nah, this is not gonna be your standard trial. Okay, I need someone who's like relaxed. It's Kazuzu. Yeah, Kazuzu. Oh wow, okay. Is Kazuzu gonna be able to control Skara for the trial? I need to think about that. Okay, so for this team, okay, wait, I have to put Kazuzu in the middle right off the bat. This is a very similar vibe to, "You took everything from me. I don't even know who you are. You're not my son. I don't have a child." I think for a certain amount of time, he's gonna be able to control them, because I feel like Kazuzu is Skara's like comfort friend. Even though he doesn't have any memory of him because the whole ancestry shtick, he's gonna go into the trial, see his partner is A, and is gonna get into maximum murder mode, but then he's gonna see his other partner is Kazuzu, and he's gonna get into like only slight murder mode. There might be a little bit of a fight, let's be real, but it's not gonna turn into a full-out war. So, Kazuzu, without a doubt, is gonna have to do most of the talking. I feel like he's the type to recite poetry after he makes like a statement. Like, he's gonna provide some evidence, some good evidence kind of shtick, and then he's gonna be like, "The autumn leaves have not forsaken my client, for he is an innocent man in the eyes of God." The judge is gonna think this man is on acid, and the judge is gonna be like, "Okay, sir, can you stop it with that?" And then Skara is gonna be behind Kazuzu, just like, "You better not make my friend upset, you little shit." And the judge is just intimidated by him. And they're like, "Oh, sorry about that. Yes, please continue, sir." And he's like, "Thank you." But then we have the other side of things, where I think A is just gonna be sitting on a chair the whole time and just watch the whole thing play out. She's gonna think she's a spectator because she has no idea how to defend. Like, let's be real, guys. Defending someone in court for her? Yeah, I can't really see that happening. I could see her being brought to court by her citizens, but she's too strong to let that happen. And Skara's just gonna be constantly like mumbling under his breath like, "Yeah, useless as always, mother." Just sitting there doing nothing while you throw your son out into the world. Like, this would be a traumatizing experience for my boy. But yeah, overall, Kazuzu's gonna carry this. Skara would intimidate the judge, and A would just kind of sit there, probably eating some dongo in the courtroom. Next, the Sumeru squad. Although her knowledge shed is very machine-based, I can see Faruzan being a pretty damn good attorney. Yeah, because she's very, like, persuasive and outgoing. I think it would work, yeah.
That's really close.
I feel like Faruzan is gonna have such a wholesome side to her. Like, she would enjoy Linny's magic tricks so much. Wait, that's adorable. Oh yeah, no. Murder, death, kill, murder, death. Yeah, this one is definitely a sweep. I don't even have to look at these other pairs. Okay, before we get into the colossally large amount of brain power in this group, I just love the idea of before the trial, Lenny doing some magic tricks for Faruzan and Nahida, because Nahida's a wholesome cinnamon bun at heart. I can just imagine her like doing a little bit of a clap like, wow, that was amazing. And Faruzan would be a bit of a tsundere at first, but she'd be so impressed. Like, this group would just get along so damn well. I love it. I can imagine the doors to the courtroom open. Faruzan on one side, Linny on the other side, both in their tuxedos, and Nahida is walking in the middle like she's the coolest kid in town. And Linny, as he's walking, is doing magic tricks, rizzing up the crowd. Faruzan is just like, wow, that's so amazing. I mean, Linny, act professional. We are in a court. And Nahida's like, guys, settle down. Leave it for our victory party after we win this trial. So they get to their little side. The judge is like, miss, aren't you a little young to be representing someone in trial? She's like, I could be your grandmother's grandmother, sir. Let me destroy my opposition, who in this case, we'll just say it's A because that would be hilarious, with facts and logic. And Scarra's just like, go mom. Oh wait, I also have my friend here. Like, who do you think Scarra likes more, Kazuzu or Nahida? I feel like Nahida, just because like they're always together kind of shtick. But yeah, she's gonna be like, watch how it's done, son. Even if Faruzan and Linny were by themselves, I still think these two would do a really good job because they're both really smart. Linny, as we've seen in recent memory, is a big brain man, and Faruzan is a 100-year-old grandma who is also really smart. So yeah. Now, let us announce the rankings for this round. In 4th place, we have Mondstadt with 1 point. In 3rd place, Inazuma with 2. 2nd place, Liyue with 3. And 1st place, Sumeru Fontaine with 5. But yeah, this order was probably the easiest one to make so far. I guess 2nd and 3rd place could be kind of debatable, but there's a little too much bloodlust in this little section right here. And last place, it's kind of self-explanatory. Now, for round 6, it's a one lawyer free-for-all again, representing Mondstadt.
Ooh.
The scope of Mika's knowledge is kind of unknown to me, because the game doesn't give us much of him, but he seems like a smart kid. Going up against him in Liyue.
Ooh.
Can the stoner doctor man defend his client in court? I feel like he could. Baiju's a smart guy, yeah. Now, for Inazuma.
Oh. Yeah.
Now, we actually have a little bit of something to go on with Sarah because of the debate she had with Kokomi, and she actually did a pretty damn good job, so I'll give her props for that. Now, for Fontaine and Sumeru.
Huh.
This is a very trippy round. I gotta think about this. Why do I feel like Dory might let something slip in the courtroom, hence low-key getting her arrested as she's trying to defend her client? Like, nah, if there was a lawyer to associate with Better Call Saul, mind you, the height is a very different. It would kind of be Dory, because she kind of delving in the money laundering, whatever you call it, that kind of business. Yeah, I could kind of see that. Since she is kind of a criminal, I think she'd also have a good, like, knowledge base when it comes to the law. For last place, I'm actually just gonna say it's Mika, because even though he's a smart kid, I know too little about him. Like he's the land surveyor boy. I don't really know how that job title can kind of connect to the world of the law, but at least he would try his best and might defend his client. And in third place, I'm probably gonna say it's Baiju. I don't think his profession of saving people's lives, oh wait a sec. Yeah, you could kind of connect the two. He's just saving lives in a different, more vocal way. Okay, yeah. Honestly, I can imagine the snake talking for him in the trial, and the judge is just thinking he's like a ventriloquist or something, but then he's like, oh no, that's just my snake talking. And the judge is like, wait, are snakes allowed to be attorneys? Is that a thing? There's no rule against that? Okay, I guess that's acceptable. But yeah, I think I'm still gonna leave him in third. For first place, ooh, this is tricky. I think with the risk of Dory being exposed, I'll actually change her to third place. Yeah, because she's kind of like a glass cannon, if I would compare it to something, that if she gets in the groove, she'd be amazing, but if she slips up a little bit, I think it would be all downhill. So she'll be third, Baiju will be second, my girl Sarah finally in first place. That's a really rare thing. We've seen her do some really intense negotiations, and she is associated with the police, the law enforcement of Inazuma. So she's gonna have at least a backlog of knowledge when it comes to like defending people with the book. But yes, so first place is gonna be Inazuma. Goddamn, Inazuma. Again, I feel like they've been first a lot. Now we're into the end game rounds where all is on the table. We're going into round 7 with 3 lawyers per team. Let us start off with the Mondstadt. It's not like I'm gonna defend you in court or anything, Baka. But Eula being part of the Knights, yeah, I think she'd have at least a bit of knowledge. Ooh, the Ice Queens of Mondstadt! Rosaria and Eula would get along so well. I don't think we've ever seen them interact, which kind of makes me sad, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, Mondstadt, finally we cooking! I feel like all 3 of these characters are the type to take the law into their own hands. God damn! This is a group of really attractive characters. Holy shit. I feel like Diluc is the type to just throw the book out the window, and both Eula and Rosaria are like, yes, go king! Or maybe just Eula. Actually, I don't think they would do that. But I think they would all be on the same page where the facts are what matter. These are the lawyers that do not care about people's emotions. They're just gonna tell you how it is, and I think the judge is gonna respect that while also simultaneously probably being terrified of these 3. Like, imagine you being the client, like the defendant, and these 3 characters are your lawyers, and they're all standing around you like they're your bodyguards in the courtroom. I just think they're gonna be very blunt with everything they say, and overall, I think this is kind of a powerhouse dynamic. Eula might be a bit of the weak link at points, but the fact that she's surrounded by such composed people, yeah, I think she'd be fine. Overall, solid group, yes! I want all of these characters to step on my face.
This is for you. Ooh, yeah, okay, we're kind of cooking here.
Next, we have the Purple Cat, who I think would be a really good lawyer, kind of similar to Ning Guang. They're kind of on the similar level. Nah, okay. We're getting kind of cracked now. Next up, we have Zhao. Honestly, Zhao defending you in court would be the most wholesome thing. Like, he's just gonna be like, do not insult my client. They are innocent.
If you dare say otherwise. Ooh, not yet.
But the final member of this team is Yunjin. Okay, that's not bad. So we have the Purple Cat, an Angie boy, and a sing-a-ling-a-ding-ding lady. Overall, I think Purple Cat is gonna have to carry this team on her back. Like, she's gonna walk into the courtroom, Zhao standing on her, Yunjin standing on Zhao, and is like, all right, time to get my game face on. Zhao, hand me the documents. Yunjin, Sing us a song. Like, honestly, she's really well cultured and probably knows like a decent amount of things, but it's similar to like Jin Yan, where it's just not her area of expertise, but still, like she could communicate messages that Cushing needs to get through. Like she could be like the voice every now and then. Ooh, what if she sung like the messages? She'd be like, Judge, I have a piece of evidence that you need to see. Probably making y'all cringe. But yeah, definitely Purple Cat's gonna be doing all the hard lifting. I think she could probably like rebuttal, like just as an example, if they were going against this team. Honestly, her and D-Luke, I could see having the most intense debate. And after the trial's over, no matter who the winner is, they would have such respect for each other. Like D-Luke would be like, hey, wanna come work for me in Mondstadt? She'd be like, no. Wanna come work for me in Liyue? Because they're both very like fact-based, not emotion. It is what it is. Get your personal feelings out of here. Zhao's role, I think, is gonna be just to control himself. Like, let's say their client was like the Traveler. Bro, if someone tried to arrest Aether, the man's about to pull out his spear and just chuck it at them. Like, nah, he'd be so defensive. So, criminal defense lawyer Zhao? You never know. Probably not. But yeah, overall, not the worst team, not the best. Kinda middle of the road. Purple Cat does do most of the work, though. For the Inazuma team, next character. I am gonna say, some of you may have noticed, Paimon in the recent Archon quest has gotten a little smarter. I can't be the only one who thinks this. All right, best girl defending you in court. That's interesting. We need someone like, who do we have here? We have Miko. We have the doctor who, let's stay away from him. Wait. Yeah, just Miko. I think Miko's the only like kind of strong force they have left. Oh boy. Okay, Dottore being a lawyer. Someone who should theoretically, or not theoretically, this man should be in prison. I don't think a jail could hold him. I think he should just be executed. But yeah, I think Paimon and Yoimiya are gonna be like meeting up as lawyer buddies. Like usually when you work on a case with other lawyers, you meet them at like a conference. So she's gonna meet up with Paimon and they're gonna be all happy and chilling. But then dramatic music starts playing. Why do I hear the final boss music? Dottore opens the door and he's like, hello, ladies. That was the worst impression. But he's gonna stroll up. Yoimiya's gonna be like, hey, Paimon, who's that? Paimon's just like, Dottore. If you get that reference, you're a real one. But since Yoimiya isn't directly knowledgeable of who he is, she's gonna be like, okay, Paimon, maybe you just got off on the wrong foot. He looks like a nice guy. Hello, sir, my name is Yoimiya. He's like, pleasure to meet you. Your body looks like it could be dissected. Now you better stay the fuck away from my girl, boy. This is my wife. Paimon will defend her. Yoimiya from danger. But when they all walk into the courtroom, I think if Dottore was properly incentivized, like if you gave him a test subject for winning this court case, I could easily see him winning. Again, another character who's just bringing facts and logic into things. Like, you might hate him, but he is the only character on this entire list, in my opinion, who could rival Nahida when it comes to the big brain power. But yeah, it just depends on if they'd give him a test subject. Like, realistically, they wouldn't. They would just pay him money, which he also needs. So we're gonna say he's incentivized a bit, but it's not like his whole life is on the line, because like it isn't, right? And Yoimiya and Paimon are just gonna be in the corner as Dottore's talking like, we have to stay away from him. Make sure he doesn't show interest in you. Dottore would want to experiment on Paimon so badly. But yes, next, the Sumeru squad, which the reason why Dottore wasn't here is because we needed an even amount of characters. But yes,
Who's it gonna be? Also Fontaine. Ooh, that's pretty strong. That's pretty strong, yeah.
Next, we have the man, Sino. This could be good because he is an enforcer of the law. I was really hoping that he would be paired with his girl Charlotte, because that is still one of my biggest ships in this game. Please, we got our boy Freminet, but come on, give us Charlotte. Charlotte would be on. All of a sudden, I'm really happy that Dottore isn't on Sumeru's team. We have Kale. Okay. Guys, why do I feel like Sino is gonna be such a dad in this group? Like, these are his antisocial kids. Ooh, speaking of which, I feel like Freminet and Kale would get along so well. Holy shit. Why have I never thought of this dynamic? But it's actually amazing. And this makes me happy because Kale is going to be comfortable with both of her team members. Like, she's going to go in with Sino and she's going to be shaking like, who's going to be the third lawyer? Who's going to be our teammate? And Freminet walks in all quiet like, hi guys, what's up? And Kale's like, I have found my spirit animal. And I think they're both gonna be in charge of like the documentation, gathering evidence. So when it comes time for the trial, Sino is gonna be doing all of the talking. These two are gonna just be sitting there giving him paper at mock speed. They're like, okay, I think he needs this. Here, Sino, take this. Here's that. And Freminet definitely is a really smart kid. Same with Kale, because this man being a part of the House of the Heart and that connection with Arlecchino, I feel like anyone who's part of the House of the Heart has to have a decent amount of brain power. So I think he's going to be okay in that regard. Now, I think he might be a little uncomfortable, not with Kale, but with Sino. Like, at first, he's going to be like, okay, he's just a businessman. But when he starts telling his dad jokes, he might be a little, he's being a little too cringe right now. And Kale's like, yeah, I know, right? God, these two would vibe so hard. But overall, I think it's a decent team. There's not much vocalizing to be had aside from Sino. And Sino is very much like knowledgeable about the law, because he's an enforcer of it, right? So that's gonna work out. This is a tough one to rank because none of them are bad. Okay, let's rank them. Give me a sec, guys. Ooh. Okay, guys, this was a really tricky one to place. I'm still not sure. In fourth place, we put Inazuma, the Dottore squad. I just think there's going to be a really difficult time communicating amongst the three. And Dottore might not be the most incentivized to do the best in the trial. And Dottore, although being the most giga brain, might not be the most knowledgeable about the law, considering he probably breaks it like every Tuesday. But it's still rough to put him down there because of how smart he really is. Then in third place, we put Liyue, the Cushing squad. I was debating between third and fourth. It's just Cushing is always wrapped up in political affairs. She's gonna know a lot about the law itself, so I think she would outshine Dottore a bit when it comes down to it. Then in second place, still kind of debatable. Should we switch second and third? You know what? No, we're gonna keep it as is. I was just debating on switching it, because again, this is such a close round. It's insane. But Sino being an enforcer of the law, it's literally right up his alley. He has two very competent assistants. Like, I think as a group, this one works really well. They'd all get along. It's just these two aren't the most vocal, but Sino would carry that part of the team. Meanwhile, as Cushing's team, it's not the most well-rounded. I think that's the issue. And finally, in first place, Diluc, Eula, and Rosaria. I love this team. It's kind of a powerhouse in my mind. Although Diluc kind of pushes the law aside for the greater good sometimes, I still think he knows the law like the back of his hand. Like, he's insanely smart. This whole team is by far the most well-rounded. Well, not by far. Like, this team and Sino's team are great, but I am gonna leave the Mondstadt team ahead of the pack. Yeah, it's close though. Really good round, really difficult to choose. Next, Round 8, the one-person free-for-all. Representing Mondstadt.
Ooh, sis.
Sucrose really is the type who would need a partner for this to really work out. So I feel kind of bad, but okay. She's a smart cookie. Let's see. Representing Liyue. I don't think I need to say much about this character in particular. But yeah, this might be a bit of a sweep. Actually, why am I saying it might? Yeah, this is gonna be a sweep. We saw how Tartusi recently did in court. That went really well. But him as the defending side of the party is interesting.
And finally, Sumeru and Fontaine. Ooh. Okay. Huh.
This is a very spicy round, guys. Holy shit. Okay, so for this group, for first place, pretty self-explanatory. If we were making this tier list like an individual character kind of shtick, Yanfei would be at the top, probably the best in the entire game. Actually, yeah. She is a lawyer by definition. That big, girthy book she always has is just full of the law. The girl takes her job a little too seriously, but in this situation, yeah, kind of works out really well. Now, I'm gonna say, as for the other three, for fourth place, we'll do that first because I think I know who it is. It's gonna be Sucrose. She's a little nervous and shy, not really into the public speaking kind of shtick, because the good thing with Kale and Fremfrem is that they were partnered with Sino, so he could kind of carry that part. And she's also just kind of like the shut-in alchemist, right? I don't think she's gonna know that much about the law because I don't think it interests her that much. So she's gonna be fourth. First, second, and third, kind of interchangeable. But I'm gonna say, since Tartusi might low-key threaten the judge, I'm gonna put him in third. I think Kaveh might be pretty good at getting his point across. It's just he might have a couple of slip-ups from time to time, but still, I think he could at least do his best in defending you, while in the case of Tartusi, the security might have to politely escort him out, although I don't think they'd be able to contain him per se, but he might get a little violent when things aren't going his way. So in fourth place, we have Mondstadt with 1 point, Inazuma with 2, Sumeru Fontaine with 3, and Liyue with 5. Now, it is time for the final round of the law. Representing Mondstadt, we have an unlucky boy, a sadistic mother, a broke chick, and a homeless person. Just made that shit up now, but it's kind of a perfect well-rounded. Nah, I feel like they'd have all their documents ready the night before, and Mona's like, yes, we're gonna win this trial, and I'll finally have enough to pay my rent on time. And then Benny just somehow burns all of the documents as they're getting ready to leave for the courthouse. And Mona's just like, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna drown him in a puddle of his own blood. That was a little dark, but you get the idea. And I feel like Lisa would be holding Mona back. Like, it's okay, Mona. We have the information in our heads. We could do this. Mona's like, if we don't do this, I'm gonna kill this child. Now, I don't think Mona's hacks would be that useful in this kind of setting, like her scryglass reading. Like, yes, they can know if their defendant is guilty or not, but at the same time, it's like, how are they gonna just construct evidence with what they know from the scryglass? Like, it wouldn't make much sense. And finally, Aether is just kind of a smart dude overall. We've seen him be a lawyer, or him and Lumine, whatever. And they're the main characters, so they have to be at least a 7 out of 10. And Lisa would be motivated with being with Aether and Benny, actually. She likes the wholesome ones. And then there's just Mona. But overall, even with Benny's slight undoing of evidence, I think the team is at least pretty smart overall. Yeah, they got a good head over their shoulders. Not bad. Then we have Liyue of Daddy Zhongdong, his assistant Ganyu, a chef, and an assassin, informant, really multi-purpose chick. Now, if she was getting paid a lot, similar to Mona, Yelan is gonna put so much effort into this case. Because all the girl cares about is living a comfortable life. So if she got enough compensation, yeah, I think she'd run the extra mile at Mach speed because she do be zooming. Now, Zhang Dong and Ganyu, I think, are gonna be amazing at defending their client in court. Zhang Dong, the second he opens his mouth, the judge is gonna just feel inferior to him because he knows probably the most about the law, besides for maybe like Yanfei and 2 or 3 other characters on this list, and Ganyu, being the faithful assistant, would be like in charge of the paperwork. She'd be handing him stuff like, here you go, Morax, our contract. He's like, relax, Ganyu, baby girl. We just have to chill and win this case. Don't stress. You're doing fine. And Zheng Ling, I think, is mostly gonna be there just for moral support. She's gonna be like, go team, go! You got this! Guoba's gonna be doing a little dance in the back like, yeah! But yeah, the combined brain power of Yelan and Zhang Dong, because I think they'd be doing the most speaking, getting a lot of people moist in the crowd, yeah. And Ganyu being the hard worker, good stuff, good stuff. Next up, we have Inazuma with the sly fox Miko, Kirarada, who would probably follow her every command, because she's kind of what taught Kirarada about the outside world, so good stuff. Then we have Sayu. And finally, Dainschliff. All right, we're gonna be calling this team the Yai Miko Cartel, because most of the brain power, I think, is gonna be in the conniving fox. Ooh, what if she used Sayu to gather some like last minute evidence, if that makes sense? So she would bribe Sayu with food, cocoa goat milk, that kind of thing, and have her go do some under the table work. Like they'd spy on the enemy. Yeah, okay, wait, that would work out pretty well, which would give them a bit of an advantage. Although compared to some of the really big brain teams, it might not be enough, but still, I think in most cases, this team would kind of slay. Like Sayu and Kirarada are gonna do whatever Miko says. And then we have Dainschliff, who I do not think is really gonna fall for her BS at any given point. But as long as she produces results, as long as they win, I think Dainschliff is probably gonna be okay with it. He's just gonna be on the back line like, yeah, just do your thing, guys. I'll help out with the paperwork. But when it comes time for the trial, Miko, you just talk your mouth away. Do your thing, girl. Honestly, I can see Miko maybe seeing him as a liability, but unless he acts upon his judgment, like that kind of thing, I don't think it's gonna turn into a fight. So overall, I'm gonna say it's a pretty good team. Yeah, has a bit of everything going. Good stuff. Although I wish Kirarada and Sayu had a bit more of a standout role, but I do think it's how it would go down. When the Amazon delivery cat becomes a lawyer. And now finally, for the Fontaine Sumeru, we have Tiki. I love the fact we have Charlotte and Farina and Neuvillette got paired. What are the chances? Bro, this poor man could never get away from this sassy lost child. He literally is her father. Like this dragon boy, sorry, human judge man. Like you cannot say otherwise. Now, this team is kind of stacked. Farina, even though she's a bit of a dum-dum, she has that aqua brain energy, but she's also witnessed like countless trials at this point that I feel like she has to be at least a little well-versed in the law. Mind you, nowhere near Neuvillette's Giga Chad niche, because she kind of like makes the rules sometimes, like the whole Paimon rule, which is why she knows so much about it. But if we're talking about like a realistic courtroom, yeah, Neuvillette would be top tier. Farina would just be that child he brings to work. Like it's bring your kid to work day. He just drags Farina. He's like, come on, mother told me I have to spend time with you. No, I'm sorry. I'm treating Farina like a child. She's not a child, guys. She's an emotionally damaged character. I feel like I have to say that because some people will get upset. But then we have Tiggy and Charlotte. Tiggy is a very blunt, which is really good. And he's also a matter of fact like, if that makes any sense. Like, he'll say it how it is, which I think Neuvillette is gonna appreciate so much. Like, these two, I could see them going out for drinks, being kind of weird best friends almost, if that makes any sense. Like, I kind of love that dynamic. And then Charlotte, as the journalist, you know damn well she's gonna be the queen of getting everything ready for the trial. This team is kind of stacked, guys. It has everything it needs, plus the enthusiasm of a god. Good stuff. Even when it comes time for speaking, I think Charlotte would be really good at getting her point across. She definitely strikes me as another one of the objection type of characters, yeah. So overall, let us rank the final matchup here. All right, so for the final round, we have Sumeru Fontaine in first with 5 points, Liyue in second with 3, Inazuma in third with 2, and finally Mondstadt in fourth with 1. Honestly, for this one, third and fourth place are kind of interchangeable, but I just think Miko could kind of plan around Mona and Lisa, even though they're both really smart, because she has Sayu monitoring them like the stealthy ninja she is. That's how I think it's gonna go down. And now it is time to rally up the points. I'm gonna open Notepad for this, but for you guys, it will seem like just a second.
20 minutes later.
All right, guys, it's been 10 minutes of me doing the calculations, but this was pretty close for the top 3 teams. I'm gonna say in last place right now, it's pretty obvious, but Mondstadt was in last with 15 points overall. I'm gonna say it right now, the first place team literally doubled the last place team. Now, in third place, this kind of surprised me, I'm not gonna lie, but it was still close for the first 3 teams. It is with 25 points. Liyue is in third. Yes, they do have their local resident Yanfei, who is the queen out of the entire tier list, but Liyue is in third with 25. Now, this came down to the wire between Inazuma and Sumeru Fontaine. There is a 1-point difference between the teams. In second place with 29 points is Sumeru Fontaine. It really came down to the wire. Honestly, in the last 3 events, Sumeru was creeping up. Sumeru Fontaine, I should say, on Inazuma. Like, it was really damn close, guys. And finally, in first place is Inazuma, which I really wasn't expecting. I had an idea of how it was gonna go beforehand. My prediction when we started this was Mondstadt was going to be in last, so we got that right. Inazuma I thought would be third, and then I thought Fontaine Sumeru would be second, and Liyue I thought was going to win. But I was wrong, it appears. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care and have a good one.
I've only had Arlo for a day and a half, but if anything happened to him, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself.
Very violent eulogy, I like it.